All right guys, here is our update and our fix for the 1K Fox. As you can see, it's raining, so we're probably going to get a few raindrops on the GoPro, but that's okay. So I know everybody wants to know what was wrong with the 1K Fox. Well, I'll show you. Okay, so as all of you know, we have had some, just issue after issue with this car ever since he got it, but we did get it running. So as all of you know, he picked this car up $4,000. We've done a few things to it. We put a coil on the car, we've put a fuel pressure regulator, we put a throttle body spacer on it, put 19-pound injectors, new plugs, new wires, and still and yet the car just would not run right. Just spit, sputter, backfire, run rich, and everything else. So with that being said, I started my process of tracking everything down, just tracing everything back. So one of the first things that I noticed on this car was that whenever you unplug the mass air meter, the car would not change at all. At that point, you got to start thinking either a bad mass air meter or bad wiring. So I took this mass air meter off this car and put it on my car. My car ran fine, no issues whatsoever. So that let me know right there that the mass air meter's fine. So then I started to think, well, what is connected to the mass air meter? So that would be your BAP sensor and then your computer. Check the BAP sensor. As you guys saw in the other video, the BAP sensor had vacuum hooked up to it, and that is not a good thing. You can't do that with these cars. So at that point, we tried a few different things. I put my BAP sensor on the car. I worked at this thing and worked at it and just could not for the life of me figure out what was going on. So then it kind of hit me. I said, maybe it's the computer. So I went in, pulled the computer out. So this is a 89 model mass air car. Just remember that. So this is the computer that come out of the car, and that's what I found on the back side of it. So this is a speed density computer. Now that computer will work absolutely for speed density car, or you could convert this car to speed density. The problem is speed density cars do not like modifications very much. So all the pop backs and spits and everything through the intake, it was because we had the wrong computer in the car. So anyway, John got online, found a computer, and this is the correct A9P computer. So, hey, made all the difference in the world. We'll go ahead and start the car up so that you can hear it. And you'll notice that the car obviously idles a little lower, not blowing any black smoke out. That was one of the big problems. I forgot to mention that. That was one of the biggest problems that we were having with this car. This car was running just pig rich, just blowing black smoke out. Now, we are still not there with this car yet. So we're not 100% finished, guys, but we have found the problem with the 1K Fox. We traced everything back. We got everything replaced on the car. The regulator was leaking, sucking fuel down into the intake. I mean, this thing was just all over the place. The coil was bad. It's like the 1.4K Fox now. But this car is drivable. You can get in it. You can go anywhere you want to go. I've already driven it around. I'll show you some footage of that in just a minute. Power-wise, the car is not there yet. Got to figure that out. I don't know what's going on with it. It seems like a timing issue. It almost feels like the car has no timing in it whatsoever. The internet is a great thing and it's a great resource, but there's so much mixed information out there that a lot of times we get confused and we don't know what to do, right? You don't know if you should go out here and unplug the BAP sensor and test it, or test out the idle air control, or it's a bad computer. Like, you get so much misinformation off the internet. Start really thinking about the way these things operate and the way they work. If you're going to do your research on these cars, then do the research on how everything works and how the components work together, because these cars will run you crazy and they will break you. I promise you, they will put a hurting on your bank account if you just start throwing new parts at it all the time. You need to know what you're doing. when you're messing with a Fox body. You know, there's so many different things that somebody could have told you that it was. For example, this car was running pig rich, right? So one of the first things everybody's going to tell you is ECT, ACT sensor, oxygen sensors. You start buying all this, you've got some serious money. You got a couple $100 in all this now, when in reality it was a bad computer. It was a wrong computer in the car. So you know, you want to go through all of your steps and your processes. There's ways that you can test all of your sensors out. So get a multimeter and test all of your sensors. I just want to leave you with this. Don't immediately go throwing money at these cars. Sometimes you have to, I understand that. But my point is, don't just start throwing money hand over fist and thinking that you're gonna fix this car by throwing money at it. Sure, eventually you will, but I'm gonna be honest with you guys, these things can get so expensive. All these little $20, $50, $60 parts add up. And then the whole time, the problem was it had vacuum hooked up, maybe to the BAP sensor or something. That's why it's important, if you're gonna take it to a shop, you know, take it to somebody who understands these cars, because anybody else is gonna, I mean, you can't really tell a whole lot with OBD1 system anyway. So, you know, half the time it's still a crapshoot, right? If you can take your car to somebody reputable that knows what they're doing, the best thing to do is learn yourself. Car's running good, running very good. This has been a great day. I'm proud. We just got the computer stuck in the car, and it's such a relief for me to have this done. I think she's gonna be a pretty tough little car. The AOD is gonna hold it back some, I know, but still, it should be all right. We're in the 1K Fox. We've got it running. We don't know how good we've got it running yet. We're gonna find out here in just a minute. But yeah, this thing has been, it's been fun, you know, and I seriously mean that, because this car has tested everything that I knew about Fox bodies, honestly. I had to really dig deep on this one to start tracing everything down and figuring it all out. And I don't think we're still there yet. We still have some issues with the cars, but it's running. It's a running, driving car, and we have found a lot of problems that had to be fixed one way or the other. So here we go, guys. All right, I don't expect, you know, anything crazy, but at the same time, I hope it runs better than it did. Well, it's definitely not a powerhouse, but it's running a lot better. So I know we swapped to 19-pound injectors on the car, but I'm honestly thinking that we need to go back to the 24s, and the reason is I think some of these injectors are misfiring and just not firing right. You can test each individual tube of the headers, and some of them are cold, some of them are extremely hot. So I got a feeling that we got some issues with maybe some injectors. But overall, the car seems to run better. Well, it definitely runs better, because now it's not a speed density car with a bunch of modifications. I mean, we're driving the car, and the car runs really good, other than a few little things that we got to work out. I would call that a win. Well, all right, guys, I think this car is ready to go back to John's house so that he can kind of tinker with it a little bit. We may keep it over here a little bit longer, but essentially this is all we tried to do with the car, was just get it running. Honestly, the car runs great. I pull up to the stop sign, car idles like it's supposed to. Car takes off fine. So that's what I'm saying. You know, the car really is about as good as really we intended on getting it. We will work all the bugs out of it, do not worry about that, but it may take a little longer than we thought. And one more thing, I just want to remind you guys to get out there, work on your Fox bodies, turn your wrenches. You know, the internet is a great thing, don't get me wrong. You're watching the internet now, watching me, right? But at some point, sometimes you just have to get out there and work on these cars and diagnose. You know, start tracing things down and see what you come up with. You might be surprised. You might surprise yourself, actually. So essentially, we are trying to close this chapter out on the 1K Fox. So I just want to get you guys up to speed as to what is actually going on with it and where we're at right now. So today I pulled the upper intake off of it. I changed the injectors. I went back to 24-pound injectors on the car, bumped the timing up on the car a little bit, and car runs really good. It runs, honestly, it's a great running car now. but the car has zero power, like it has no power. So because the car has no power, I'm almost positive it's going to be an issue with the transmission. Now, I'm not a transmission guy, so I'm not going to pretend to know everything, but I do know that the kickdown cable is broken, something's wrong with it, and the car doesn't kick down properly. You can hold the car in first gear, get the RPMs up around 3,500 or so, and then stomp the gas, and the car runs really good. It doesn't act crazy, it doesn't do any of that anymore, but the car just has really no power. You can free rev the car and it sounds great. So John already knew that the transmission was not right in the car, so he's going to try a new kickdown cable. If that doesn't work, then we're going to send the other transmission to the transmission shop and get it rebuilt. I'm just trying to get you guys up to speed because this isn't worth making a whole nother video over, because you're not going to see or hear the difference in the car. The car is running a lot better. After I went back to the 24-pound injectors, I put my BAP sensor off my car on his car just to see if it would change, and the car seems to run a little cleaner, so I'm not sure. Not sure if it was the BAP sensor, 24-pound injectors, or what. But anyway, I just want to get you guys up to speed. I think John's going to take the car home for a little while and do some weather stripping and some small stuff. We will have the car back over here at some point. We'll continue to work on it, but right now I think that's going to close this particular chapter out with the car. I'm very proud of what we did. We got a car that did not run for $1,000. We changed a few things on it. We traced some issues back to the computer, and now he's got a good running car. And as always, thanks for watching.